Hello and welcome. I'm Amoni Pinala, and I'm going to try something new. So this is going to be analysis of the new expansion coming in June for EVE Online. Um, it's called Equinox, and yeah. So let's talk about it. So this is, um, they did a big reworking of LoSec with the faction warfare, completely changing the way that faction warfare mechanics work. Um, and it seems to have worked quite well. Faction warfare, I think, is a lot more popular. The addition of um, the pirates was also a nice touch, right? Like the Havoc expansion brought Angel Cartel and Guristas as an option for um, enlistment in militia. So that meant that you no longer had to choose between the four empires. You could also select one of the two pirate factions and fight against two empires. It also meant that you could corrupt systems and make them more like low sec or null sec, depending on where you were. So, like high sec systems could become more like low sec, and low sec systems could become more like null sec, including the ability to bubble in a low sec system with uh, all that good stuff happening. Now we're looking at Equinox, which is promising to reinvigorate nullsec. So let's take a look at what's going on. So this is coming June 11th or 11 June, depending on where you are in the world. You might say the day first. Um, so at a glance, here's what they're promising. The Equinox expansion is the first step towards a radical reinvigorating of nullsec space. Capsuleers will gain access to new upwell structures, allowing for planetary resource harvesting, automated moon mining, customization of sovereign space, and more. Daily goals are getting enhanced with a monthly reward track. Corporation projects see more variety alongside a corp window overhaul. And the Skinner tools empower creative capsuleers to design their own personalized ship skins. June also sees a major update to eVanguard, introducing new activities and objectives, adaptive weaponry, persistent between sessions, and a brand new map. So, this is not just an update for EVE Online. This is also an update for their FPS extraction shooter, Vanguard, which is still in alpha. Um, I have mixed feelings about Vanguard, but we're not talking about Vanguard. So let's continue on. There's some cool videos. I feel like they really went all out in like creating a narrative around this expansion that I really enjoyed. So go to the EVE Online website or go to their YouTube and check out those videos from Upwell Consortium. Um, they're really good. I really enjoyed them. I thought they were very good. Um, there is a lot of mention of a workforce, and I'm not sure what to take from that. So, in the lore, all of the ships that you fly are piloted by you, but there's also a crew that like is a part of the ship, right? Like, so you are piloting this thing, but then there's all these other crew on the ship, and every time that your ship blows up, all those people die, right? Like, you're the only one that gets out alive, presumably. So, the mention of workforce is interesting, and I wonder what they are what they are signaling with this because it suggests that there might be some sort of mechanic that indicates like workforce management, which honestly makes it sound like they're turning EVE Online into Stellaris, which I mean Stellaris is a great game, but it's not what I play EVE Online for. Like if I want to play that, if I want to play Stellaris, I'll just play Stellaris. I don't play EVE Online for that. So I don't know. I have mixed feelings about it, but whatever. I don't want to judge it too harshly before we know what's actually up. Okay, so we have harness planetary power. Okay, um, so uh, the planets of sovereign null-6 space are teeming with untapped potential, from the fiery depths of lava worlds to the thunderous peaks of storm planets. Equinox introduces means to extract and exploit a wealth of new resources. Okay, this could be a couple of different things. This could be a rework of how PI works in Sovnal. It could be a addition to PI in Sovnal. So like there's additional resources that you can get in Sovnal. What we do know that is that it is part of Sovnal. And the resource that you're collecting is called reagents. Um, and this is going to uh, be part of the new sovereignty hub, which we're going to talk about in a little bit here. Um, but this is the whole new, like, it's not super clear what all this means, but it is interesting what they're suggesting. Um, there's also the orbital skyhook, an advanced structure that will allow more efficient planet-to-space transfers than ever before. These can be anchored in orbit of planets within sovereign nullsec space to provide access to power, workforce, and reagents necessary for the empire-building aspirations of nullsec organizations. In addition, skyhooks bring in new content in the form of pirate orbital blockades, NPC encounters with potential to attract officer-level enemies, pirate dreadnoughts, and even titans. A prototype orbital skyhook is now ready to view in the Avakin system. Okay, so a couple of different things. In this context, workforce sounds like it's going to be another resource that you have to manage, just like PI and all these other building materials. Now you have to manage a workforce as like basically a building material, right? Even though it's people. Um, Surprise, surprise, people are tools. Reagents, again, a new resource. So essentially, it sounds like skyhooks are going to be a thing that you use to mine, um, and it's going to now spawn rats, which is interesting. So it sounds like, I don't know if it's going to be like a thing, kind of like the ESS. When people hit an ESS, it gives you like a system-wide ping, right? You hit the main bank of an ESS, it sends up a ping, everybody gets notified. I'm wondering if it's going to be like this, like that, where if your skyhook is being blockaded, the whole system gets like a ping that says, pirates have blockaded your skyhook in, you know, this system or that system, right? Um, or it might just be a thing that you have to like routinely monitor, right? Like you have to warp to these skyhooks and check to make sure that the blockades are not up. It might also be something more like incursions, right? Because when you warp into an incursion system, you like automatically are added to a new chat called Sancha Incursions, and it gives you like a lore dump of what's going on. And then, now you could, in theory, talk with other people who are in system about, you know, running these incursions. I don't know anybody who uses the Sancha chat. It's more of an annoyance than anything, but we have that. Um, there is a link here. Oh, that's it. That's the YouTube video. Okay. Well, we're not going to watch a YouTube video. Okay. It's a very good video, but it's not clear what that is all about. Interestingly, the workforce YouTube video, which you should totally watch, suggests that they are now, like, Upwell is basically promising people a chance to go to space, right? People who would normally not be able to go to space. In the video, it's got a whole narrative about one person whose name we don't get, but they dream of going to space, and for reasons that are immediately clear when you watch the video, they have not been able to go to space. So this Upwell consortium has been promising people a way to go to space, and the way to do that is to clone the person, give them a new body, and um, it's interesting because the workforce clones that are mentioned here in Equinox look very similar to the Deathless in the Havoc expansion, which leads me to believe that Upwell's consortium has been doing this for a while, um, either in secret or just as like a private venture, and the Deathless are basically essentially like a workers' revolt. Um, that seems to be the implication. However, like the other thing that we know is that like the Deathless are also composed of war clones who fought for various Empire factions and then were basically discarded by the Empires. Like the Empires didn't want anything to do with them. I mean, imagine the clones in Star Wars. What happened to them? Like, it wasn't good. I'll tell you that. All right. So, next we have the Metanox moon drill, um, which is promising to be a new source of passive income. I'm trying not to just read the little paragraph summaries. Um, yeah, so, okay. So here's the important thing I'm going to read. Well, orbital skyhooks are only available in nullsec. Moon drills can be deployed in lowsec as well. Um, and somewhere it was on a Discord, I can't remember which one, but one of the CCP devs did clarify that the Metanox moon drill can be used in lowsec, nullsec, um, and wormhole space. So this is essentially an automated moon mining module. Presumably it goes up on like your Athanor or your Tatara, whatever you've got. Although, honestly, this graphic looks nothing like an Athanor, which makes me wonder, is this just like, is it its own structure? Does it get deployed like on a mining moon beacon next to an Athanor? Like, what's the deal with this thing? Or maybe it's just a really cool graphic that they commissioned. I don't know. But skyhooks are for Sovnal. Metanox moon drills are for nullsec, lowsec, and wormhole space. This is the thing that has really pissed off my corp mates and alliance mates. The concern is that if you make moon mining a passive thing that can be done with some module or structure, um, then it just um, it could end up just reinforcing already existing power blocks in certain areas of Sovnal, in certain areas of lowsec. Um, Honestly, I don't know how much of a big deal it would be in wormhole space. For those who don't know, wormhole space got an update when they reworked how moon mining works. They completely nerfed wormhole space. So now it gets the absolute doo-doo tier uh, uh, moon mining. So it's very low tier moon goo in wormhole space. I could see them using this just to do it if they were like, you know what, it's cheap and it brings in resources and we don't have to do anything other than put fuel in the structure. I could see wormholers doing that. But honestly, I also question like why bother, right? So I would be surprised. It'll be interesting to see how this actually works. They're calling it a new passive income stream. I think like it'll just be interesting. I can't imagine that it's going to be so good that people are going to stop mining manually. Um, but we'll see. Um, the next thing is the Sovereignty Hub, which is replacing the iHub and the Territorial Claim Unit, or TCU. Great. Because let me tell you something. Coming to Sovnal from wormhole space, right? I've never lived in Sovnal before. Coming to J space and like trying to catch up on Sovnal mechanics and like realizing like nobody cares about the Territorial Claim Unit, right? One of my corp mates described it as basically a flag. Like it's basically just a flag in a flagpole that you have to anchor and yay. Um, okay, so the Sovereignty Hub is replacing it. What's not clear is how is that going to work? And you know, it would be kind of funny if all of Sovnal suddenly turned into a free for all while people like struggled to get those uh the sovereignty hubs put up, but I highly doubt it's going to be that chaotic. It might be chaotic for other reasons, like CCP has not had a great track record of smooth rollouts of expansions. So, there could be problems with this, but, essentially the Sovereignty Hub replaces both the iHub and the TCU, which is great. Um, it sounds like it's going to get upgrades, similar to the way you could upgrade the iHub. Um, Whether it's going to be the same kind of resources, I don't know. I suspect that this whole thing with the reagents is going to be something that we have to put into the new Sovereignty Hub to upgrade it to a certain level. I don't know what that's going to look like, but it'll be interesting to take a look at. There's so little that we really understand. Um, it also sounds like there's going to be new ore. Um, Introduced in Sovnal that can only be discovered once you've upgraded the Sovereignty Hub to a certain level. I don't know if that means that there's going to be like actually new ore, like when they introduced Triglavian ore, or if they just mean that new asteroid belts are going to spawn. Um, so we'll see. New and lucrative anomalies. Hooray! Look at that Phoenix looking all boss like. I really like the look of the Phoenix. Maybe not everybody, but I do. Anyway, pirate detection array upgrade for the Sovereignty Hub. Okay, I even more challenging anomalies, new escalations, and the possibility of officer spawns. Um, okay, so it sounds like they're reworking the. I mean, Nullsec already has something like this in Sovnal, but it sounds like they're reworking it. It's not clear like how this is going to change exactly, aside from exactly what they're saying, right? Like more difficult anomalies, new escalations, and officer spawns. Well, officer spawns could already happen. It's just not clear. Like, okay, officer spawns could happen in like belts. So now you can get officer spawns on anomalies. Okay. Cool, I guess. New ships, new possibilities. Okay. This one's interesting. This is the one that caught my eye the most. Um, New ships. And specifically, so like this is going to be a whole new set of hauling ships. And the thing I'm weirded out by is like, these are all ships dedicated to hauling reagents, the new resource called reagents. Okay, so you've got the Squall, that's your T1 hauler, right? Then you've got the Deluge, which is the blockade runner. Then you've got the Torrent, which is the deep space transport. And you've got the Avalanche, which is a freighter. Which suggests that you're going to need a metric ton of freighter size loads of this stuff to actually do anything, which is wild to me. Like, you're going to introduce this new resource, make it like critical to sovereignty, and you're going to introduce some new ships. I don't know. It just seems like a lot. But I'm interested in these new ships. I am weirded out by the fact that all four ships have missile combat capability. Um, why? Why do these ships have missile combat capability? Like, I've done a lot of hauling, and never once did I want like missiles on my hauling ships, except as a meme, right? Like, Badger fleets are a meme comp that you take out just to troll and be goofy and have fun with your friends. But like, why why would you want missiles on your haulers? I don't know. It just seems weird. It does mention an infrastructure hold. I wonder if that means that like there's going to be a separate hold so that you can store the stuff that you need for like a sovereignty hub, similar to the way that like a epithal can hold. You can hold PI, but then you can also hold a uh, a fair number of command centers. Um, that's interesting to me. Uh, I'm kind of I'm really curious about these haulers because I do love hauling, and this is interesting. I just can't get over the missile combat thing because it just sounds so silly to me. But I'm sure it'll make for great memes later on. Personalized fleet. Okay, so this is the thing that they promised at FanFest 2023. Um, so at FanFest, they teased that in 2024 we were going to get the ability to make our own skins, and that we could then sell them on the market if we wanted to. So here we're getting a little. They're promising that this is going to come with um, Equinox, or at least shortly thereafter. Um, so basically, you've got a bunch of different colors you can select from. Then you've got like patterns and a whole bunch of other stuff that you can use for this. Okay, cool. Um, then you can use resources based on their value in Plex, which I don't know how they're calculating the Plex value with um, skins that have never been released before, but I don't know. There must be some back end formula for it, which I'm sure The number crunching nerds are going to figure out, and I love you for it. Please give me that data when you do figure it out. So you can make it for yourself, and implied in here is that um, you can make it for yourself or you can make it for others. And I suspect that if you make it for others, it's going to be more resource cost intensive. Um, so I don't know if I'm right about that, but that's kind of what I feel like is implied. I could be wrong. Um, Sequencing costs are based on a tier system calculated in Plex, based on the rarity of design elements and complexity of the skin. Um, and you can sequence them in bulk for your own fleet or your corp. I wonder if that means that you can't actually make them, like you can't make a bulk order and then just put them on the market. Um, it's not like making sneakers and having the dopest set of sneakers you've ever seen, and then you just drop them at midnight, and all of a sudden everybody wants to get those sneakers. Like I don't think we're reinventing sneaker culture in EVE Online. Um, but it'll be interesting to see what actually comes of this. Um, they are promising a rework of the um, skin collection, allowing you to I don't know, view your skins and stuff better. I don't know, seems cool. Like the current interface is absolute dog doo doo. I'm trying to keep this Unicomms for all my uni folks who watch, and some folks I know not hot on the foul language, but I curse like a sailor outside of Eve University. So um, visit the Paragon Hub to buy, sell, and trade skins and components. Okay, so now, gosh. Okay, so Paragon is like one of the most useless things that I've seen since I came back to EVE Online in 2023. Um, but like essentially, you can do a couple missions, and all they are is give this agent a ship, and you get Evermarks for it. Hooray! Now you can then in Havoc, they then made it so that you could spend the Evermarks on Alliance and Corp logos that go on your ship like a hologram, which is cool. I think that they look pretty cool. It's a nice touch, but it was not the kind of like earth-shattering update that I was hoping for. Um, and so now they're incorporating like a Paragon hub. I'm not sure if that's referring to like the Paragon stations, or if you're actually going to have something um, in your Neocom that's like called Paragon Hub, where you can do like remote purchasing of stuff. It's not clear if what that's going to be, um, but I guess it's going to allow you to um, buy like the skins that people make, maybe remotely. That'd be kind of cool. And then the last one is a um, corp management overhaul kind of thing. Um, I have heard this is good. Um, I have managed a corp, but it was only an alt corp, so you know, like it's really not the same as managing a corp with a bunch of player characters who are not your alts, right? Um, so the corporation window is getting overhauled, um, which is great because the corporation window is an absolute dog doo doo UI. It is not fun to play around with. It looks like it was made in 2003. Um, Absolute dog doo doo. So reworking it is great. New corp project engagement methods. Um, okay, so it looks like they're making SRP a part of core projects, which is interesting. So like now, this is also something they promised at eFanFest. The ability to do SRP automatically through core projects, which is interesting. It's kind of neat. Like, knowing CCP, this might actually not work the way that we want it to, and it'll just piss everybody off because it should work a certain way and it doesn't. And CCP is not going to fix it after they release it. So, or they'll take 10 more years to fix it. Like, you can tell there's a real love hate relationship with CCP that I've got going on. Um, so, there's going to be, I guess, there's going to be a bunch of different core project, like new core project options available. So, okay, cool. Um, and they're going to streamline the core projects for everyone, not just on the corporation level, but also like individuals using core projects. So, I mean, okay, cool. Um, they are reworking the dailies, and it looks like also yeah, they're reworking the dailies and the Air monthly progress report thing. So, again, like these are incentives to log in and do certain things every day. Um, I personally find these really annoying because the tasks are like, I wish they were custom. I wish that you could like select like, I want PvP oriented ones or I want mining related ones, and like then it gives you like when you log in and you start playing Fortnite, it gives you like missions that you can try. You can select a mission to try to accomplish during that match, right? I wish there was something. I wish that's kind of how the dailies worked. Like you could select, I want to focus on PvP today. I want to focus on mining today. I want to focus on exploration today. And then your dailies are based on that selection. That would probably be more work than what they're promising here, but you know what? Whatever. Um, so new goals, new rewards. Um, I guess we're getting more information. This is giving us more hints about how the like custom skin design thing is going to work. So one of the rewards that you can get is Skinner components, which I'm assuming are things that you need to make the skins. Okay, cool. Um, Plex, I mean, I guess, like, how much Plex are we talking here? Because, like, we've definitely had planetary, uh, Project Discovery. That's the word. Project Discovery is the phrase. Project Discovery will sometimes give you like 10 Plex or whatever, and it's very rare that it happens, but it does happen. You can get 10 Plex. I've had it happen once or twice. Um, so, okay, cool. Um, experience the thrill of unlocking a new ship with immediate notifications and get clear Oh my god. Okay, so I get the sense that these dailies are really here for the new players, right? This is part of the whole new player experience overhaul, right? They make these dailies to encourage new players to try new things every day, um, which is not a bad thing, right? Like some players will find one thing that they like and they'll just do that all the time. And for a lot of new players, that's mining because they don't know how fun PvP can be. They don't know how fun running abyssals can be, or, whatever, right? They get too scared. They hear how somebody's ship blew up and it was very expensive, and that person's really bummed, so then they never go to low sec or null sec because they're scared of losing their ships. And they don't realize that like ships are ammo. And you can get to a place where losing a ship is not the end of the world. You just have to like get a little further along in your play, right? And you have to get a little more experience with the game mechanics. So, it's cool. They're trying to like, give more like the dopamine rewards for like doing, you unlock a new ship and now it tells you how to fly it or gives you some hints about how to fly it. They're reworking the skill requirement panel, which, oh, I don't know how I feel about that because I kind of like this. I kind of like what we have. Um, and it also means I'm going to have to do a new video on skill planning, but with new screenshots, but whatever. Like, the real thing is like, okay, if they redo the UI and the whole UX for skill planning and skill requirements, right? Um, that is only going to affect the newer players because all the seasoned players are using tools like Pytha and Evemon to plan out their skills, to figure out skill requirements, to figure out fittings and all that crap. Like, yeah, sure, I'm sure some seasoned players probably still use the in-game skill planning and in-game fitting window, but I think more often than not, folks are using Pytha, folks are using Evemon. Um, so this is for the new players. Okay, sure. And then we've got updates to Vanguard, which I'm not really gonna talk too much about, except to say I really don't like the direction that they've been going with Vanguard. Um, in March's update, they added mining, which is just like, are you kidding me, CCP? Are you kidding me with this crap right now? They added mining for some reason, and it's dumb. It is just as dumb as it sounds. It's another thing you have to collect. I couldn't even figure out what you're supposed to build with the resources that you gather because they're completely unique. They're not stuff that you make ammo or any other resource. Um, I think the whole crafting mechanic in Vanguard is stupid, but whatever. That's my personal thing. Like, that's just I really hate crafting in games. I think crafting is very obnoxious. Um, but whatever. Some people like crafting in games, and you know what? In some games where crafting is like the main thing that you do, cool. I just don't like crafting in my FPS games. And Vanguard is just adding more crap to the crafting, and I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. Um, so one of my complaints about Vanguard early on was that there was only one gun, and it looks like there may only be one gun. It might just be one gun that you endlessly modify to change its functionality. So it's like the Swiss Army gun, right? Like it you just it just has all the attachments and it does all the things. I mean, hopefully it's cooler than that. Hopefully it's more like the gun in Control that like changes configurations and then behaves differently so you can like, I don't know. I know I'm making a lot of references to other games that other people may not have played, but whatever. I'm a gamer and, you know, if you're playing this, you're a gamer too, but maybe you don't play other games, whatever. So that's Equinox. That's as much as we know right now. Um, it's actually not a lot. This is not a lot of information. Like, I got excited about this information, but I still feel like I don't truly understand what the heck Equinox is going to really look like. Um, this could be cool. It could be a real disaster. Um, like most things with EVE Online, My guess is that there might be places where it's really awesome and like some people are going to make big bank because they figure out how to make, like how to game it really fast. And so those people make real big bank. And then a couple days or a couple weeks later, it gets nerfed. And suddenly the enthusiasm just completely tanks on that thing, right? I'm thinking of like home fronts. Everybody was losing their minds about how much money you could make doing home fronts, and they weren't super hard. So then you had everybody running home fronts because you were making more money doing home fronts than you were like soloing C3 wormhole sites. Like, okay. So I don't know. And then they nerfed it, and now home fronts are not terrible. They're really not terrible, but they're nowhere near the ISK levels that you could make when they first came out. So I suspect that whatever happens, it's gonna change in the weeks that follow the release. So, who knows? Who knows? It could be absolute dog doo doo. It could be cool. Um, we'll just have to wait and see. That's all I got for today. If you like this video, if you would like me to do more analysis, if you have suggestions for how I could do analysis better, or more like what you'd like to hear analysis on, I'm more than happy to like take suggestions. If you have ideas about content you'd like me to do specifically, something that you think I would be good at and something you would enjoy me doing, I would love to hear your suggestions. Because the reality is, I don't have very many classes left that I can teach, and I can only design so many classes before I lose like ideas on classes to design. So there's that. I thought I would branch out into covering some Eve news and talking about it a little bit. If you liked it, give me a like. Subscribe to the channel so you can be updated on it. If you just stumbled on this video, I do Eve University classes. I do um, fight videos in Saw of Null. I also have like a backlog of videos that you can watch from my time in C5 wormhole space, as well as a couple Eve Uni fights. I don't normally involve myself in PvP with Eve Uni just because I don't have time for it, but I have a couple videos that you can check out. Not the greatest, but whatever. Uh, you can check all that out on my channel if you're interested. Otherwise, I wish you all the best. Fly safe, my friends.